Our next session is a fireside chat on the topic, a human-centered approach to machine learning, why we need to put people first. Can I please call upon stage our speakers, Vishnu Ramesh, CEO of Subtl.ai, and Mahadev Punekar, co-founder and CTO at Assimilate.
Good morning, all. Here I am as a moderator. Like a student, I'm going to ask some questions to Vishnu. My name is Mahadev, and CTO of Assimilate Technologies. Here we are a software development company as well as consulting firm. Yeah, over to you.
So my name is Vishnu. I'm the co-founder at Subtl.ai. We're a deep technology startup based out of Hyderabad, India.
Basically, we from the first day we heard about AI. AI is constantly evolving as a new technology and technique. So just set to in context, in its fundamental sense, what is an AI?
So in very basic terms, the whole concept of AI is to try to replicate an element of human thought, right? Because that's essentially fundamentally what we're trying to do with AI. So the goal of AI, so to speak, is twofold, right? Number one is to replace mundane tasks so that we can focus on more creative tasks. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Give me a minute. But yeah, the second goal, of course, is to assist us. Rather than, people have this perception that the whole point of AI is to replace what we do and then we become redundant. That's not actually how folks in the tech world are looking at it. The whole purpose of AI is supposed to assist us with what we do in order to, improve the quality of jobs itself that we're involved with on a daily basis.
Okay, so can you tell us your experience with AI and what do you offer in Subtl.ai? If you could also give us an example, if you have slide something, so that could be better
Sure.
to understand the things.
Absolutely. So quick background of my exposure to AI was actually when I met my chief scientist in 2018. His name is Manish Srivastava. Very well-known guy in this space. Did his PhD in IIT Bombay in 2006, spent the last 16 years doing a lot of core NLP research. So everything I know of this space is because I had the chance to work under him. And it was, I think, over that experience, over the summer of 2018 was when I actually got exposed to, the potential of AI, the way things are changing. Of course, around that time, computational capabilities started improving, right? Like the amount of computations the servers can do significantly started improving, and I think that also kind of opened the pathways to develop AI applications and start really rolling it out there for people to use. So I think the best way to run through the experience would be, I can actually maybe do a quick product walkthrough of what we do. So it just gives you an idea of how AI is being applied, right, in the current environment that we're in. So if the organizing team can help me with the product, yeah. So just to set some context again, right, what we're basically doing is, these are AI assistants that can understand your documents and videos and then answer any questions you have on top of that. So that you don't have to sift through countless sources of videos, documents, or any other text-based knowledge base, right, when you're looking for information. So the idea is to kind of save time, fundamentally. So if you can just click on how should quantity notes be reported. So this is case one of two cases that I'll be showing you. Over here, we have actually fed in PDF documents. And this is essentially how the experience looks. You're able to come and ask questions and instantly receive answers. Now, if you compare this to keyword-based searches, you end up seeing too many results, right? And then you still have to sift through it. In most cases, people end up making multiple searches before they finally find what they want. So we're essentially able to cut out all of that noise, so to speak, and directly give you the signal of the best answer. So this is kind of how AI looks, right? There's no mention of AI anywhere. It doesn't give you the feel of a bot. It's very subtle in terms of how it gets embedded into our daily lives itself. So experience-wise, the whole concept of AI here is to understand your question, locate an answer, and then also highlight a short-form answer from the data. If you can click on the first answer, this is just to show that this is information directly from documents. So we have the information highlighted within the data, giving you seamless access itself into the content. So this is one of two cases. I don't want to take too much time, so I'll just quickly move to the second case. If you can move to the video scenario. Yeah, you can click on how to remove the last element on. Same thing, questions, answers, but the difference here is this is actually sourced from videos. So if you were to click on the first answer, you're going to see the video play from the exact timestamp where the answer is mentioned. Yep, so it's jumped and okay, so the audio may not be linked, looks like, but I'm sure you all noticed that it jumped to the exact section from a 1 hour, 15-minute video where the exact answer itself is present. So immersive applications into e-learning, right? And then like my panelists mentioned from the previous conversation, looks like even for the metaverse, this is something that could add value, right? From a learning and development standpoint. So that's a little bit about what we do. The intention, of course, was just to give you an idea of how it's being adopted. So it's not directly in your face or giving you the perception that here I'm talking to an AI itself. It's very subtle in terms of how it gets embedded into our daily experiences itself.
That's really nice. Thanks for the quick demo. To extend this conversation, is the machine learning or AI is the part of our life?
Yeah, that's I think there's been a trend that's constantly been happening, right? So like again, from a research standpoint, people actually designed a lot of these architectures during the 90s itself. The only reason it could not get adopted at that point was, again, computationally servers were not that powerful in order to, host these AI models and then like leverage access into them. I can't speak about the trend of adoptions outside of India, but what I noticed in India was the first adoption actually happened with the banking sector in India, where they started realizing that people have a high premium for customer support, and they wanted to start adopting conversation systems, right? Nice. And that's how, like, I think with the advent of chatbots, the India market actually saw the boom in AI.
Okay. So what's the potential of AI replacing us? How long it could take? What do you think?
Did you say of replacing us?
Yes, yes.
So there are two forms of this answer, right? I think so. One element is AI or no AI. On some level, the purpose of technology is to kind of put mundane tasks out of the way so that we can move into more creative tasks, right? So if you compare 2022 with the 1940s, in the 1940s there were even people in rickshaws essentially moving people around manually, right? Okay. And then now we have engines that have come up so that people don't actually have to do that. So if you kind of take that example, there's similar things that would happen over a long period. Okay. So at least from what I understand now, probably the first set of mundane tasks that would get replaced by AI would be customer support. Okay. But that would also happen over a very long period. It would happen in a trend. So what we're seeing now is AI will first assist customer support teams to help them resolve tickets faster, right? Okay. When issues get raised on a particular product or a platform. And it's going to be at least 10 to 15 years before AI comes to a point where it can actually replace.
Okay. At the funniest part, not as a techie, but as a common man, I would like to ask a question on this. If AI or robot can drive you or do the car, then what common man can do? How they are doing job, like the drivers.
So I think that's where that whole replacement strategy would happen, right? The replacement would happen with mundane tasks, but it would happen over a very long period. There would be a trend to it. So it would be like a minor shift that you would be seeing year on year. But of course, again, there's a long time for it, right? Like autonomous driving, it has its applications. I think with Tesla actually tracking how people drive based on different traffic scenarios, they're eventually going to get it right? They're going to pass what we call the Turing test, which like, just for reference, again, the Turing test is a way to assess AI and actually see if, you're able to fool a human, giving them the perception that you're either conversing to another human or there's another human doing something for you. Okay. So again, it would be a long shift, but what would basically happen is we would start moving towards more creative jobs. Okay. Right, in the 1940s and 50s in India, at least most people were into farming, right? And now, like some amount of technology has at least ensured that a single farmer can do more work, right, within like a particular plot of land. Yes. And that ends up meaning that a lot of other people can start moving into more creative jobs. So that's what would basically happen 100 years from now is, I believe, most of the tasks would be taken care of, and people will just be engaged in creative tasks of entertaining each other. kind of like what we're seeing right now, right? Like creators on the YouTube economy or Instagram and so on and so forth.
That's nice. What's the potential of AI being assistive in nature?
So that's I think something that it has a lot of potential in, right? In terms of assisting people. Now it's able to assist people with like very mundane tasks the way it's set up today. For example, if you saw what we do, it's fundamentally our concept of AI is, hey, we're like replicating the thought process of understanding any question that you ask and then assisting you with the best answer from all of your internal data. So AI has come to a point where it's able to assist people with specific things, but it can't be running autonomously or independently, at least the way it is right now. So it will assist either way, at least for the foreseeable future.
Yes, right. To listen the things like in a positive way, I really feel good, okay, and the positive way. But is the AI is destructive? Like nowadays, every application taking data from us or asking us to give permission for the contacts, photo library, and they are doing something on the databases. Only AI works, right? So is that the destructive?
So I think there are two elements of it, right? AI again falls under the broader umbrella of tech. And if you look at user data privacy, again, there are laws like GDPR and CPP that essentially regulate all of that. So it would still fall under the same jurisdiction immediately, right? Because AI still falls under the umbrella of tech.
Okay.
The second element is with AI, again, there are boundaries of control. It depends on how much control you fundamentally give it. And at least what we're seeing is most APIs today are, most AI applications today are triggered in nature, not autonomous. So triggered basically means they're like wrapped around by an API of sorts, which basically means you can trigger the task to get the AI to do something for you, rather than let it do something in an autonomous fashion. At least as of now, most of the AI adoption happens in this way. And even if you look at our product, for example, right, the AI action is triggered because you ask a question and only then it actually locates something for you. It doesn't autonomously go through all of your data and try to pull up different things. So there is potential for it to be bad, but I think that's where awareness of AI and then what it actually does is so important. Because when people have better awareness of things, they know how to control it, right?
Yeah, based on you, like many manufacturing industries and other companies, like they are looking for these Autobots or based on AI, right? So you say like this is not an destructive, okay? So why we need a human first in front of AI, like instead of AI, or while doing development, we need to think as a human first.
Yeah, I mean, the fundamental reason why we're all doing this is to kind of make our lives easier, right? At the end of the day. And it's definitely important to keep human thinking first, right? Because if you just look at pure economics and if you just look at trying to make money, I think that's where brands lose that human element to it, right? So I think it's very important to keep people first. And I also believe the whole purpose of AI itself was to assist people rather than replace people.
So while doing the development of AI, are we considering the ethical consideration as well as the user experience, or we are really we should take care of these things?
So at least as of now, from what I understand, things have not gone out of hand. But if the wrong people come into power, it can definitely get out of hand. I think that's where the laws, the regulations are important, and that's something that will come with better awareness of tech. Similar things in crypto, right? Like crypto can be used for all sorts of things, but I think that's where that awareness of technologies like crypto and AI is so important, so that people really take that into account when they're setting regulatory frameworks.
Yeah, thanks for the answer for the questions. Last question. In the conclusion, long-term AI replace us or assist us?
In the long term, it is going to assist us. It's going to replace us only from the sense that there are simple, straightforward jobs that we can now get, more like redundant jobs that we can now get AI to adopt, right, over the next 5 to 10 years. And that will basically give us, as a race, more scope to really move into more creative tasks, into more productive tasks. And I think at the end of the day, I truly believe it's going to improve the quality of life across the board, which I think is very important, right? Like the whole goal at the end of the day is to try to uplift people.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you very much for the answers.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Anyone has any questions?
Hi, so you can hear me, right? So I had a question earlier and the answer was similar. With new technologies, the first step seems to be awareness, right? And well, different people put it differently. So say when it gets to crypto, when it gets to new financial products or to AI and machine learning, where they need to be adopted, but people are not confident how to adopt them. How would you recommend that awareness to happen? How do you prioritize things that should happen, or how would you frame the kind of awareness that needs to happen before these products be received to, say, new locations?
I'm sorry, you're not completely audible. I could not.
All right. So see, when we say awareness, and say if a firm needs to do the awareness for these kind of new technologies in a new region or a new country, let's say, how would you recommend that awareness be framed or be performed, or what should be prioritized in that? Because we hear that a lot, but different people define awareness differently, right?
Again, I think the most important thing is to maintain the boundaries itself of the AI, really keeping restrictions on what it can do and what it can't do. And it also really helps to keep it triggered in nature rather than autonomous, right? Which is you trigger the AI to do tasks for you rather than, let it automate tasks. So there are automations also that happen, but most of the automations that we're seeing, at least in the SaaS world, in the tech world today, is with respect to mundane tasks, and you know exactly what is happening, from start to finish. I think that awareness of what the boundaries of the AI are, with respect to control, with respect to operations, I think that's very important. I think regulatory frameworks should essentially, keep mind of that. And I think that's where the safety of people can really be taken into account.
And the other aspect, I would say, AI is just a computer program, nothing else. It's work on database, like whatever data we have. On that basis, it works.
So basically, it's not the marketing process, it's the message itself. If you can deliver the message, people will receive it and have trust in it, right?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Padma, and I run a language translation company back in Bangalore. So what we normally come across is, the question is like, whenever I say, what's my business about? And then they say, are you using machine learning or AI in your business? And so my question to you is, there's a part of the world which understands what is AI and ML and what is the output it can give. But a large part of the world doesn't understand what it is. So they think that, just by putting the text into maybe a Google Translate or any other open source that is there, you would get an output which is good enough to be going into the market, which is not so. So what would be the responsibility of maybe the industry in terms of educating, the other parts of the world, or I would say the other industry, in terms of understanding what an AI or ML is and currently what it can give you? Because everything is what you input is the basis for as an output.
So I think most of the awareness will probably end up happening from experience, right? When people start looking at how it's able to functionally help out, I think that's where most of the awareness would happen. But at the end of the day, a lot of this information, in fact, maybe even about 70% of what Mahadev and I covered today, this is information that's publicly available on the internet. So I still do believe that awareness will continue to grow with information already present on the internet, but a lot of it will be driven by experience. Like people have to really experience it to really understand how it can help them and what kind of benefits are there.
Sure.
Any questions?
Hi. So my name is Mohan. I head the engineering team back in Bangalore, company called Code Metrics.
Can you please speak a bit loud?
Yes, yes. Am I audible?
Yes.
Perfect. We hear a lot of trendy terms called no code, low code, right? When we talk about AI, there's a lot of infrastructural cost which comes with the implementation, right? As the world is moving towards low code, no code, because just they want to prove something with a kind of POC or early stage of funding, do you think having a small AIs which can be adapted to low code, no code bring a lot of awareness? Because unless until you touch and feel the things, you won't know the flavor of what you're actually consuming. What's your thought on it?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm banking most of Subtl.ai's business model also on this. We are looking to make a horizontal play where we have APIs that our AI is already packaged into that can now be plugged into third-party platforms, right? Because the world that we live in now, it's not like 2005, 2010 when people are just starting to adopt different applications on the internet. There's already a lot of adoption out there. Right. For example, there are edtechs that have countless number of videos that kind of students and learners are going through to find stuff. We see a lot of applications over there. At the same time, there are also SaaS platforms that already have a lot of usage. So that's where I believe most of the AI integrations would happen. And over the last 5 to 10 years, that's also where a lot of it has already happened. Right. I mean, the first 2 examples of AI in the market, at least as far as memory serves, right, for me, would be recommender systems and conversation systems. Right, and that's something that's already present. Like on a Flipkart, if you buy like a toothbrush, you're going to get recommended toothpaste and like peripheral products around that. And then of course like conversation systems, right? Like at least I'm very confident at least 30 to 40% of the internet out there, most websites already have chatbots that are directly embedded to kind of help incoming people with like standard conversation workflows or different things. So yes, it is primarily a collaborative strategy. That's what I truly believe.
Okay. So keeping in mind in terms of user data privacy, so you talked about the Flipkart e-commerce platform which starts randomly suggesting something. So how are we maintaining AI which has a privacy concepts? Which means I got the data, I can do anything because the customer is in, that's a customer consent. So how can we get rid of those kind of concepts?
I think the primary goal would be to be flexible in terms of where the AI should be deployed. That's something that we've seen because I think our case is one of the first few cases where we're trying to do this disruption on top of private data, right? Like I'll give you an anecdote. Our first market success was actually State Bank of India. For their branch operations. And banks have very strict data privacy regulations.
Yes.
So what we ended up doing very early on in our journey was deploying the AI for them within their infrastructure. And then they had that peace of mind of, hey, like this is the boundary of my infrastructure and the AI is sitting within it. So there's no information that can actually get leaked outside of, my controlled space, so to speak. So I think on-premise private cloud deployments, that gives people a lot of comfort, right? And in our case, the people that we are addressing would essentially be direct customers that want to use our product. And then also third-party SaaS platforms that want to embed these AI assistants in order to assist their customers better for any information access related activity.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So, I have one question, or you can say my doubt is, I understand human-centered approach is great, but when we talk about data privacy or data theft, can we put artificial intelligence and machine learning on the first, and we can rely on it? Can we do that? Can we trust on that?
I would say, as I said, there are few points. We need to consider, we have to think ethically, we need to think on that as a human-centered approach. before putting this human-centered approach, you're asking to put directly the AI and ML, right? So I would say there is no, there will not, we cannot control, I guess, then, right? Or
I think a simple analog of this is, would you let your 6-year-old drive you around to work and back? So I think that's kind of how AI is, right? There's certain elements of things that it can do, but it still needs to have a layer of control on top of that.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
one thing is in my mind. If we are not thinking to put human-centered approach, and many scientists are working on this, like they are trying to put human brain inside machine. If machine think their self, okay, then are they replacing us or how?
So it would still be an assistive element, right? At the end of the day, I mean, in whatever form it is, like chatbots today or like robots tomorrow, at the end of the day, it's still, from a design standpoint, at least I believe it's supposed to be set up in a way that it's helping people, one, and the two, of course, there's like an element of control.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, again, bounds of control is really important. At least with the state of AI today, it's really not a big issue. But over the next 15 to 20 years, there will be very significant changes. The AI applications will be able to do smarter and smarter things going ahead. For example, for Subtl, at least our long-term vision is, if anyone has seen Iron Man, about 10 years from now, we would expect this to become a little bit like Jarvis. Right, understands stuff for you, and then like you have an ongoing conversation with it to, do different cool things on top of that.
Right.
But yeah, I think again, the end of the day, those are the two key things I would put focus on, right? The bounds of control and then assistive in nature.
Means always we need to set the boundaries while
Yes.
working on the AI part. Okay. Thank you. Anyone has any questions?
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.